the reason why Trevor and I started Starfish Space is we said, hey, we have the same dream as so many people that like, let's go out in the universe, let's push the boundaries of what humans can do. And we think to make that possible, it has to be driven by the economics. Humans have to be getting more value from going into space than what it takes us to go into space. And that's why we've chosen to do Starfish Space as a business, because that really aligns our incentives as an organization with the overall problem. And it drives our approach as a business. So what we do as Starfish Space is we build, as our initial product, a satellite called the Otter, which is designed to grab and move other objects in space. And it turns out that's useful, and maybe we'll talk in a little bit about why that's useful. But as we do that, it's not a unique thing to us. NASA sent up a space shuttle full of astronauts to do a mission like this, which you call satellite servicing, in the 1980s. So we've been doing it for 40 years.
I bet that was cost effective, easy, and a very quick mission from NASA.
You think you're saving a $500 million satellite. Boy, this is going to be a great deal. But when you have to send up 7 astronauts in a space shuttle to do it, not money positive anymore.
No, definitely net negative. But drill in a little bit on what Otter is going to do, because it has kind of 2 functions in its current design, if you will.
2 core missions that we go after with the Otter. One is satellite disposal. So you've got a satellite in low Earth orbit. It's died. It's just a cannonball threatening your other satellites now. We'll get it out of the way. Second core focus for us is what's called satellite life extension. You got a valuable satellite. It's run out of propellant. It's drifting away from the orbit it needs to be in. We grab it. We bring it back to the orbit that it needs to be in.
But to be clear, to deorbit a satellite, to push it into an orbit where it'll eventually decay and then just break up and kind of atomize itself, what you do is you apply pressure and pushing it down. And when you're trying to increase the life of these satellites, my understanding is that the Otter becomes effectively something that latches on and then gently pushes. So you're either pushing up or pushing down. So you've created like the world's most advanced staircase.
Well, and what gets tricky is some of the orbit dynamics is part of this. And this video is going to humorously not follow some of the orbital dynamics. But when you want to go down in space, you don't actually push down. You push backwards, and that drains energy from your orbit, and it goes down.
So
and when you want to go
just remove
up, you
energy
push forward.
and then, okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So, but what would happen if you push down, though? Now I'm curious.
You just kind of wobble around your orbit, and you don't even notice it.
Oh, well, this is why we have experts on the show, ladies and gentlemen. So you push back at a satellite, or now I presume instead of up, you're pushing forward.
Yes.
Okay. And there are fancy terms for this, but the gist, Austin, is that there's so many satellites in orbit today, and the pace at which we're adding satellites seems to be at an all-time high. So I presume there's more of these dead cannonballs than ever. And also, there's probably more people who want to keep their existing satellites serviced and in orbit longer.
We're only putting up more and more in space. And that's both because it's becoming more affordable, and you see trends like smaller satellites and launch making that happen. And also because of all the value it's providing to folks, whether it's Earth observation, whether it's communication, really tremendous things going on in space. But as we put more up there, things that were previously not a problem because space is really big become problems. And also, we want to have more capability. If we can interact and recycle and assemble satellites up there, that's more and more that we can do in space and build a space economy.